Are we live? Wow. So I hope that it's okay that I did this week at Wednesday. Obviously tomorrow is a holiday, so many of you probably wouldn't be able to come and so on. So I thought that it would be the best to... Hey Shweta, can you write a comment? I need to see if I can see the comments, because last week I was like talking here and I didn't see any comments. So I hope, hey, great, it works. I hope it's like not gonna be, because I thought I was talking for like over an hour alone and like I know that you people are watching but nobody is saying anything, and then I thought like, why is everyone ignoring me? And then later I saw it and I saw all those comments and I was like, where was that? So anyways, thank you for for writing. Hey, I'm really happy to have you here, and I hope you brought your piece of chocolate because we are gonna need it. And this is gonna be fun. I really wanted to do this one with with the chocolate, because you know, we learn the most when we are having a fun experience, and we learn the most when it's something like different and so on. So I thought that would be a really good way to anchor what we were talking about last week. And last week we were talking about intuitive eating and why is it the best thing ever and why diets don't work. We were talking about how intuitive eating covers all the aspects of health that are defined, although I guess health would be even more than that, and those aspects would be physical, mental and social well-being. So we talked about how diets are physically not healthy because first of all they are creating a huge stress on your body, and when your body is struggling and when it's under the stress, of course it can't function normally, and it can't provide us with the energy and so on that we need. Especially as women, we need energy, those calories and carbs and all of that, we need it to function, and we need to have certain amount of fat to be able to even menstruate and so on. So it's really important that we allow ourselves to eat and that we allow ourselves to have that peaceful relationship with food. And not only that, but we said with the mental health, it's much better when you are feeling relaxed around food, when all the foods are welcomed in your world, and when you feel really, really good about the foods that you are eating and so on. And that's gonna be impacting your mental health in a beautiful, free way, instead of the usual one where everything is a guilty pleasure, where you are not allowed to eat any foods, and those foods are like you really, really want them, but you shouldn't, and it's all that struggle going on in your mind all the freaking time, because we are always in some way exposed, hey Brittany, exposed to foods, and we are always exposed to those foods that we usually have bought into the idea that they are like bad for us and they are junk foods and we really shouldn't eat them and so on. So those foods are everywhere, we can't avoid them. And when we can't feel at ease with those foods around us, when we feel like they are our enemy and they have so much power over us that we give them, it's not like they are just food, they don't do anything, they are just there. It's what happens inside of us that makes them, you know, harm us in a way. It's really, really detrimental for our mental health if we can't just feel at ease and relaxed around any food, okay? And then lastly, we talked a lot about how it impacts our social well-being, because social health is of course a big part of the puzzle. So if you can't go to the social events because of food, or you have anxiety because there will be certain kinds of foods that you are not allowed to eat. Or we said for people who live in larger bodies, it's really worse for them than to anyone else, because you know they are seen in those social circles as lazy and so on. Those judgments are always present, so they can't really, hey Natasha, they can't really enjoy the foods that they are eating. And for example, when they go to the restaurant, they are fearful of, let's say, ordering a pizza, because they know that everyone at the table and probably people around are gonna judge them and be like, oh my god, you know, you are fat, you can't eat pizza, you should be eating a salad or something. And it's really harmful for those people. And then moving further, it's the health system. Those people, this weight stigma is really big in the health system, and those people are simply not taken seriously. And this goes beyond only fat people. Diets are like the thing that's recommended to even thin people, people who have that body that's socially acceptable. They also get recommended diets, and they also get recommended to cut out certain foods and so on. And it's like, you know, like those health practitioners, I know, I'm not saying that any of them really wants to like hurt anyone. They are doing the best that they know how, but they learned that this is the way it works, and that like health equals losing weight, and health equals pursuing losing weight. And there is this whole moral imperative where we in a society are like valued based on our weight and how much we are torturing ourselves to lose that weight, right? And it's a big issue, and I really hope that, I don't know, our message, this message of intuitive eating is gonna spread, and that health at every size movement is also gonna grow, because it would be a much better world if people could just be, and just, you know, instead of trying for 30 years or more to lose the weight, if they would try to just accept themselves, and from that place of love, in no matter size that you are, then you can be acting, you know, from that place of love, you can be doing stuff for your health and not for losing the weight. It's a big difference, and it's a big mindset shift, and I really hope that we're gonna be spreading that message. And I thought that, you know, it would be the best way to do that with a piece of your favorite chocolate, right? Because, well, most people love chocolate. I know some people who don't, and they are just weird. But I hope all of you do. If you don't, then you need to find some food that can also be like melting in your mouth, but it's not chocolate. So it's more about that experience of having pleasure with the food. And chocolate is a really good example, because we have been conditioned. Yeah, exactly. And it's all like business for them, and the diet culture doesn't really care about if people are healthy or not, right? It's just what sells. And then they pack it into healthy lifestyle, and then they pack it in all of those different, you know, ways of presenting us with the same bullshit. And it really needs to stop, and it stops by us doing this work, and by us accepting ourselves and knowing that there is a different way of being, which is just, you know, intuitive eating, which is like allowing yourself to feel at ease and relax with any food. And when you have that peace with one thing, then you can spread that peace to everything else, you know. It's really amazing. Like when I work with the clients, it always kind of starts with the food, but then it overfills, because, you know, life is not those single areas of life, everything is connected. So when you find freedom and peace and so on in one area, then naturally you're gonna be applying the same kind of mindset to the other areas of your life. And that is amazing. It's really how it changed the world. Like, I don't know, like I've been doing this for so long, I don't even understand anymore why would anyone, you know, buy into the idea of dieting. Like, if it worked, it would have already worked. Like, I had clients who dieted for over 30 years. Like, if diets worked, come on, it would have worked by now, right? I mean, if the product doesn't work for 30 years, it's probably about the product. But diet culture is the only product that they sell you, and then when it doesn't work, you blame yourself. And that's really harmful, and that is really what's gonna ruin everyone's health in the long term. It's just not sustainable to be like blaming yourself for so long and like feeling so much anxiety and fear and everything over something so simple as food. And this goes into those whole food rules and beliefs and those disordered eating behaviors where, you know, you think that you're gonna like fall apart if you just eat a cookie or something that's like off the table for you. And that is really harmful. It cannot be serving your health in general. We can't have health if we are obsessing about not eating food 24/7. And of course, if you are dieting, if you are restricting, you are gonna be thinking about that food. First of all, because you are hungry, and that is something that you can be finding alternatives to. Like, that's also a principle of intuitive eating, like coping with your feelings and what's going on in a way that's not just eating. And then approaching it with curiosity, you know, like trying different things and seeing what works really well for you. And then when you come to that level where you understand that, like, when you stress eat, does it help you? Or like after that you have just eaten and you are still stressed, and then you maybe feel like, oh my god, I shouldn't have eaten that, and then just adds to the stress. So it just makes it worse, right? But when you have like those different coping mechanisms and some other things that you may be doing when you are feeling stressed and so on, then, you know, when it happens that you eat because you are stressed, that means that there is something new coming there, and then you can approach it with that curiosity, like, what is going on in my life that I haven't learned how to cope with? What is this new situation and so on? And you can do that from that place of compassion and knowing that even if you eat emotionally, that's still just food. You are still a worthy, amazing human being, and the food you eat doesn't have a moral value. It's not guilty, it's not shameful, it's nothing. It's just food, and you used it in that moment to help you with something because that was the only way you knew how to take care of yourself. And that is amazing because at the end of the day, you still took care of yourself, right? It may not be what you want to be like doing in the long term as a form of taking care of yourself, but it worked, and it's, you know, still you showing up for yourself. So I think that's a nice change of perspective, because even with emotional eating, we often feel so guilty, like, oh my god, you know, I have been eating because I'm sad, because I'm this or that, it doesn't matter. And then we feel like we are a failure because we ate and we aren't hungry, you know, biologically, we are not physically. And then it becomes this like hunger scale diet where you just like tune into, am I physically hungry? Am I not physically hungry? And then that's the whole new diet that you create for yourself. So it's really important to understand that it's okay. It doesn't matter if you have been eating emotionally, that's fine. Just you may want to be adding some other coping mechanisms and then slowly like weaning off of that so that you can see what works better. what you know, what coping mechanism can you have for the stress, that after that you feel less stress and not still having the stress and having the stress from eating all that food, and maybe it doesn't even feel good when you are like stress eating and emotional eating. You don't really feel all the food. It's not a very pleasurable experience, at least for me and for people I talk to. So it's probably similar for you. So anyways, I hope this helps you with that, because it's really amazing to me how intuitive eating works so gently. There is no guilt. In a dieting world, you know, emotional eating is seen as this like, oh my God, how can you do that? You know, you shouldn't, you need to willpower your way through it and so on. And then you try to willpower your way through it and you didn't learn anything from it. And like this, you can be showing up for yourself with this compassion, and you can learn something from it. So the next time when the stress happens or any other situation happens, you already have some mechanisms, some things that you know are joyful for you, and you know you are gonna be feeling better when you have those, you know, things to do and how to manage your stress and feel better. Like that's really like what helps the most. And of course, another big thing is, like I talked in, I guess in her story, I talked about this. It's okay to feel whatever we need to feel. And it's okay to feel anger and to be stressed and to be sad and to be whatever we, you know, feel. It's fine. We don't need to stuff it down. We don't need to hide it. We don't need to pretend like it's not there. It's just a feeling. It's gonna go away. But if we like stuff it and don't let ourselves feel that, it's gonna be stuck somewhere. We didn't resolve it and we didn't like honor it and let it flow through us and come at the other side. And then from that place we can be turning to something else, like to some better feeling that feels more comfortable for us, because like there are no bad feelings, there are just those that feel uncomfortable and we don't really want to feel them. And especially as women, we have learned that like good girls don't cry, and you know, you need to be quiet and nice and so on. And when you are angry, that's like a problem, right? The society isn't really okay with the female anger, and when we grow up, then it's like you are hormonal and so on. It's a whole mess, and it's okay for us to feel. All of us need to feel all of the emotions. That's like the part of the human experience. So it's really important to allow ourselves to feel that. Okay. So we talked about why diets are harmful, how they are not serving our health, and how intuitive eating is the best way to be practicing self-care, because it's all about self-care. Like nobody has a problem with food. Everyone has a problem with self-care. And once we are able to, you know, tune in and honor ourselves and the phases that we are in, you know, like our cycle, honor where we are and understand each phase of where we are, then it becomes much easier to like just have compassion and be in our mind, in our body, and live with ourselves. Because at the end of the day, the relationship we have with ourselves is the most important relationship we have at all. And we cannot build it in a very loving and compassionate way if we are spending like 10 hours a day trying not to eat a cookie, right? It doesn't go well together. It's just gonna perpetuate that, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. If I was good enough, if I was thin enough, I could eat a cookie, right? So it's really unhelpful. And the thing is that people who lose weight, like short term, because long term it doesn't really happen, But people who lose weight short term, it doesn't do anything for their confidence. That's not true confidence. True confidence comes from being at peace with yourself, being as that mountain that I talk about in every single event that I host. When you are that, you have that energy of a mountain. They can come, like, no matter what happens, you are still grounded and you still know that you are a badass, you still know that you are awesome, and you still know that you are worthy and amazing and beautiful, and nothing can shake you down when you know that at your core. And that mountain energy does not happen from losing weight. That's just not happening, right? So instead of trying like to lose weight and to cut out all the junk foods, it's much better to be coming back home and tuning into that inner mountain and then show up like that in the world, right? That's much better. So that's what we are gonna be choosing to do, okay? It feels much, much better to just accept yourself and to honor yourself. And then, you know, when you build that relationship with yourself, and it really, like, I chose to teach intuitive eating because food is like a huge part of our lives. Like, we need to eat on a daily basis, and there is so much like socially going on with food. There is this tradition and culture and everything connected with food. Like, for example, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and that's also gonna be about, you know, a lot of food is gonna be involved into that. It's not like holiday is about food, but still, for every celebration and so on, food is really something emotional for us, and it's everywhere, and we need to be able to like feel at peace with it, because like there is a lot of difference how you're gonna spend, like, for example, Thanksgiving, if you feel like you can't have a piece of your granny's pumpkin pie that you love so much, versus, and then you know, obsess about it, and I really shouldn't, I really can't, that is too many calories, too much this, too much that, versus an experience where you feel at peace with all the foods, and then you can have a piece of that pumpkin pie and really, really enjoy it and love it and focus on what's really important, and that's like the holiday and being with your family. Maybe not this year, but in general, like being with your family, having that tradition and community and so on. So it's really important, so important to have that peace with food and with our bodies, and to trust them, because like they know what they need, okay? I mean, our bodies do like, I'm gonna screw up this number, but it's huge. It's like 37,000 billion chemical reactions per second to keep us alive. Why do we think that we can't trust them when they tell us that they are hungry? Like, why? It just doesn't make any sense, okay? So we are not gonna be doing that anymore. What we are gonna be doing is eating intuitively, and we're gonna enjoy all the foods that we love, and we're gonna be diving into our healing meditation, because I know I say this every time, but I'm really trying to keep those lives a little bit shorter, because I know you guys have like life outside of this, and I really want to respect that. I don't want to take like 5 hours of your life with this, okay? So we are gonna be doing this healing chocolate meditation. You're gonna need a piece of chocolate, and that what I'm gonna be combining is Reiki and some other modalities like NLP. And it's really just, your job is just to relax and to enjoy it and to like have that experience and feel those feelings and so on, and so that you can like be moving forward with this whole food freedom and intuitive eating, because like the purpose is to kind of anchor this knowledge, this wisdom that you have, that your body knows what it needs, and that what we need to do is just enjoy all the foods, that eating can be simple, and that we need to like trust our bodies when they tell us that they are hungry. Because like this is the funniest example, but it's 100% true. You wouldn't be questioning your body when it tells you that you need to go pee, right? You wouldn't be like, oh my God, I peed 3 hours ago, I really shouldn't, you know, or oh my God, I peed too much, I peed too little. Like, you don't do that. You just trust your body that it needs to go pee, and you know, you let it pee as much as it needs to pee, and then you just move on with your life. It's not a big deal. And the food needs to be kind of the same way. Like, you know, you see that you are hungry, you notice all of those unique signs of hunger that really work for you, and then you just see what you wanna be eating, what feels good, what food are pleasurable for you, what food tastes good. Maybe you want something crunchy, maybe you want a soup, maybe you want, you know, you see that with yourself and you lean into that, what your body is telling you, and then you eat, you enjoy it, you are comfortably full, you are satisfied, and tada, you move on with your life. It's very simple. And we were all born doing this, okay? Nobody was born like, I really shouldn't eat a cookie. Like, that doesn't exist. All small children and babies, they are greatest teachers for us because they are at home. You know, we need to be like finding our way back home when it comes to food and when it comes to like all other sorts of things, right? And they are already there. And you're gonna notice, like, if you have babies in your life or had or whatever, you know that when they are hungry, they are gonna let you know, and they are gonna let you know really hard. They aren't gonna stop like crying and calling and asking for food until they get the food, right? And then they get the food, and then they are so happy, and it's so delicious, and they are amazingly happy, and it's pleasurable, and so on. And then they are satisfied, and they are not hungry anymore. They are full at a comfortable level, and then they are like, not a big deal anymore. I'm gonna go play now, right? It's very simple. It's like super simple, a natural process for all of us. So what we need to be is just come home. This is just one aspect of coming home. You know, I talk about coming home all the time, and this is coming home to our eating, to trusting our bodies and listening to them, okay? Oh, I know I have a lot to say when it comes to this, but it's really, really important. I wish like I would have a whole world. Yeah. Do you notice when he's like, you know, he's like hungry, he wants food, he's satisfied, he's just not interested anymore. Sometimes they just turn their head, you know, or like push food away and so on. So it's really amazing to like learn from the kids and see how we can learn to come back to who we are, to come back to our home. It's amazing. So, do you have your chocolate? Are you ready? This is gonna be so much fun. Okay, so what I'm gonna need you to do is just leave that chocolate somewhere where you can easily find it, and relax. You can close your eyes and just lean back in the chair or in the bed if you are lying down, and just take a deep breath. A few more. Notice how with each breath you are more grounded. It's really relaxing. And now when you are comfortable, one more breath. And I want you just to notice where is past for you. Where do you see your past? Is it behind you, to the left, down? Where is your past? Point in the direction of your past. And now, where is your future? Where are you heading? Point in that direction. And remember those points. Remember where is your past. Remember that you are right now, right here. And remember where you are going. Where is your future? And now, I would like you to go back to the past. I want you to find an experience in your past where you felt fearful around food. Just notice that experience like you are watching a movie. You are not in it now, you are just watching it. How did it feel? Just notice, how did it feel? What was the energy in there? Was it heavy? Was it stressful? Was there a lot of shame? Just notice what it looked like. Were there any thoughts that you can remember that you were thinking back then? What was going on? What were the sounds? And once you have seen that little movie, I'd like you to go a little bit more back to another experience like this. The experience where you felt guilty with food. You felt like you really shouldn't eat that. You felt like a failure because you ate something maybe. Notice that experience as well. See what was the energy, what were the feelings, the thoughts, how did it look like? Do you remember any other experiences like this, where you felt where you felt like fearful, where you felt shame about the food, where you felt maybe like you are never gonna be able to do it, to just willpower your way through rejecting food, where you were restricting yourself. Take a couple of steps back until you see more of those experiences. See them as little movies playing somewhere a bit far away from you, but not too far. You still want to be able to see what was going on. And let yourself feel whatever you need to feel about those experiences. Maybe you feel shameful that you went through those experiences. Maybe you feel sadness. Maybe you just feel angry that we live in a world where this needs to be happening at all. Let yourself just feel all of that. How did it feel? And now I want you to notice next to you on the ground there is a big box. It's a beautiful box. Just imagine it's your favorite color. It's beautiful. It's like you have made it. It has maybe stones on it. It has a beautiful look. It's amazing. And I want you to imagine yourself just walking to each of those experiences and just pick them up as you would pick up a bag. And one by one, without engaging in those experiences, just carry them into your loving box. And with each experience that you bring, feel how your body is feeling lighter. It's already feeling lighter. And notice how you suddenly feel more relaxed. And you are still bringing them. You put them in the box with so much love and compassion. And imagine yourself standing in front of all of these experiences and just giving them your compassion. You now know that in each of these experiences, in each of those little movies, you were just doing what you felt is the right choice. You were just trying to do what is best for you. Just notice how there is so much compassion going in that box with those experiences. So much compassion. You were always doing your best. And as you spend time with those experiences, and as you allow yourself to feel all the compassion for that woman who wasn't allowed to eat, who felt so much shame and guilt, give her all of your love. And now I want you to notice if there are any lessons coming up for you. What did those experiences teach you? What was their purpose? Because often in life, even the worst things that happen to us can teach us something. Maybe you have learned that no matter how much you restrict, it's not gonna change how you feel about yourself. Maybe you have learned that what you needed was compassion and self-love and self-acceptance and not weight loss. Maybe what you have learned is that it really didn't feel good. I want you to take a few moments and just take all the lessons that you need. You may even write them down in your imaginary notebook. Just make sure that all of the lessons are with you. Put them in your heart. Carry them with you. Keep them really, really close. And now, send a little bit more love to the woman you used to be, to the woman who was suffering. She needed love, and you can now give it to her and give her all the compassion to each of those experiences. And when you are ready, you may gently close the box. As you close it, seal it with love. Know that this was really important for you to go through. Know that you were always doing your best. And know that you have learned so much. You have grown so much. And now, let that box there. There is no need to dispose of that box. It's a valuable box. You have learned a lot. It has made you who you are. It's beautiful. It just needed to take its rightful place and to stay in the background, not running the show anymore. And now, when you are ready, just know that that box is there for you. Whenever you need maybe another lesson from there, whenever you feel like you need to connect with that part of who you were, what you were doing, and just give it some more love maybe, or learn something more, or just use it as a reminder of how painful and uncomfortable it was. Know that your box is always there, but now it's just smaller. You don't need to engage in those feelings anymore. You can now take a deep breath and turn to where you pointed, to the future. And I want you to walk towards that future with all the lessons that you now know, and with all the love and compassion that you now have for yourself. Through all of those those experiences right to this moment of now. So much love and so much compassion. Let it sink in. All the love of the world is here for you, from you. Remember, a relationship you have with yourself, the acceptance you have of yourself, the respect you have for yourself, the love you have for yourself. It's the most important thing in life. After all, every step of the way, you are with yourself, right? Let yourself really, really bathe into this love that you have for yourself. Knowing that you have always been doing anything to protect yourself, to love yourself, to become better. And now you are doing the same. Just this time, you are doing it a little bit differently. This time, you are doing it by trusting your body, trusting yourself, allowing yourself to be, knowing that this body that you live in, the body that sends you signals to eat, is the body that has one job, and that's to keep you healthy and alive. And it's always doing everything in its power to keep you healthy and to keep you alive. And all you need to do is just love it and honor it, respect it, and listen. Just listen. And now, when you feel this whole peace, I want you to take a few steps further in the future. I want you to imagine maybe tomorrow how your family is gathering. There are all those delicious foods, the foods that in a way bind your family together. You have been eating those for years, and everyone has their favorite recipe, and everyone brings their favorite foods, and you feel just so much joy. And you are there, and I want you to really step into yourself as if it's happening right now. Feel what it feels like to be in this body that you trust, in this body that knows what it needs, in this body of wisdom, so much wisdom. Generations and generations of wisdom have been carried on to you, to your body. And you are there, surrounded by your loved ones, and you feel so much peace. And then I want you to notice the table, and there is so much food, all those different foods, and just smell it. It smells so delicious. It smells amazing. And it looks so beautiful, all of those foods. And I want you to feel what it feels like to be around all of those foods with pleasure. It feels so easy. It feels so amazing. And now I want you to take that piece of chocolate and put it in your mouth. Don't bite it, don't do anything. Just put it on your tongue and let it be there. And I want you to feel what it feels like to have that beautiful, rich chocolate just melting. And it's pure pleasure. It's your favorite. And you love it so much. It's delicious. And I want you to notice how good it feels when you can have that chocolate and just let it melt while feeling peace, while feeling pleasure, while knowing that that chocolate is always available to you and you always have permission to eat it and let it melt. Let it fill your whole mouth with so much pleasure, so much rich, beautiful taste. Focus all of your attention on that beautiful piece of chocolate. Like, make it everywhere in your mouth. You can feel all of your mouth exploding with this taste. And it feels so good knowing that you can always access this pleasure. Every single thing that you eat, all of the foods can bring you pleasure. And you can have all of them. They are all good for you in one way or another. Let this taste be a reminder for you. Let this experience of peace with that chocolate and peace with food. Let it be a reminder for you for tomorrow, for every single time that you eat, a reminder that you are free, a reminder that you can trust yourself, a reminder that all of the foods that you love eating, that are tasty to you, all of them belong into your eating world. And as this chocolate melts, put all of your attention to that feeling of peace, of unconditional self-love, the feeling of freedom with all of the foods, the feeling of that relaxed energy, relaxed feeling around any food. And when you are ready, you can slowly swallow the chocolate. Slowly. And know that as you swallow that chocolate, as it is entering your body, and then later entering your cells and becoming a part of you, with it, all this wisdom of freedom, wisdom of listening to your body, this feeling of peace, feeling so relaxed with food. It's now a part of you. It's inside of you, at the core of your being. It's going everywhere. Notice how your whole body is becoming that beautiful, beautiful feeling of pleasure, the feeling of peace, the feeling of relaxed, just relaxed around all of the foods. And with this feeling firmly grounded in the core of your being, I want you to go ahead and take a few more steps further in the future and see the next situation where you are eating, or when you are noticing that you are hungry and going to eat. And take all of these feelings of pleasure and peace with you. Notice how eating is now simple. You notice that you are hungry. You kind of feel like you want to eat a certain food, whether it's chocolate or not. All foods are welcome. And then you simply eat it. And you are so in tune with your body. You notice when you are hungry. You notice how good it feels to eat, how pleasurable food is, every single food that you enjoy eating. And you are able to be there and feel that pleasure and feel how satisfying it is, how delicious it is. Maybe it's crunchy and you are chewing and it feels really, really good. And then you notice how you are getting satisfied and you are kind of getting full. You notice how at the level where you are comfortably full, it feels so good. And then you simply stop eating, because there is that infinite peace and infinite freedom available to you at all times with food. You simply stop eating and you move on with what you were doing. I want you to really, really be in that experience and feel it so much. And then brighten those feelings. Make it all just a tiny bit louder and brighter. Just make it a bit more free, a bit more relaxed, a bit more peaceful and joyful, and a little bit more until you feel it's enough. It's really, really feeling amazing. And now, when you are feeling ready, walk back to the present moment. Walk back here and now. And ease back into your body with all of those feelings of grounded and relaxed and free. Move a little bit, and when you are ready, you can open your eyes, take a breath, and let me know how it feels. How it feels to know that this is always available to you. This is like your natural state. This is what it's like to be you. And the more you practice it, the more it becomes ingrained in you. And it's like impossible to go back to restriction, because you know that it makes no sense, and this feels so good, so relaxed, so peaceful, and so amazing. This feels so good. I hope you enjoyed it, and all of you who are gonna watch replay, let me know, like make me a hashtag replay or something. That would be really amazing for me to know how many of you are here seeing this, and like to have feedback in general. Like I'm doing this for you, obviously. And I really want to create stuff that's like important to you and that's like valuable and so on. So, you know, let me know what you think. And also I need to announce that as of today, self-love period is officially open for enrollment, and I decided to do it a bit differently this time. First of all, I wanted to do it like before the whole Black Friday thing starts, because I know you're gonna be like bombarded with all of the offers and all of that stuff. So I wanted to like make it a little bit more gentle for you, and that's why I also extended the enrollment time, so you can enroll now, but we are gonna be starting with the program in January. And why I did this is because holidays are really overwhelming, and I don't want to like take more of your time and make you like commit to this whole thing now during the holidays. But also, since all the modules in self-love period are self-paced, you can like join, and then you have this support system through the holidays, because holidays are a lot, especially this year, and it's really helpful to have this grounding system. And I have there a lot of things that can help you feel more grounded, and that can help you like ease into like less stressful life, and to know how to manage that stress and so on. And so I wanted to make it available to you through this whole December, and then in January we're gonna be like officially starting. And as you know, it has 6 weeks, so it's a 6-week program, and we're gonna be starting in January with talking about stress and sleep. That's like the first 2 modules, because those are like the biggest things that you can be doing for your hormonal health and like health in general, because like your period is a vital sign of health, and hey, and if it's working well, that's a really important sign that your health, overall health, is doing well, that you are doing well, your body is doing well. So it's really, really important, and I really want to have all of you that feel called to join, and I really wanted to make this like a gentle launch and to give you more time and so on, because I realized I don't want to be like adding to your stress with making it like a week launch or something, and then you have all the holidays and stuff, and then it's just adding to your stress, and I'm not helping you against it, but adding to it. So that's why I wanted to have this extended enrollment period where you can see if this feels good to you and join. and enjoy it before we start officially. And of course, through the whole month, I'm gonna be available to you if you have any questions and so on. And if you join and then have any questions, I'm still gonna be here for you. Like, you are not on your own, I'm here for you. And it's really important, and the program itself is so amazing. It's like probably the only program of this kind that's completely aligned with intuitive eating and with health at every size, and where we don't try to like manipulate our hormones into balance by weight loss, because that's like a short-term solution, and you know now that that doesn't work, and it's just gonna end up stressing you out, and stress is like the worst hormonal enemy. So what we are gonna be doing is something that's completely unique, and that is like going with this intuitive eating, where there are no restrictions, there is no to-do list that you must be doing in order to have healthy hormones. And this is like your one-stop program, because those things that you learn there, you're gonna be integrating them in a long term through your whole life. It's not something that I do to share those things with you for those 6 weeks, and after 6 weeks you are like on your own. That's not like yeah, I mean, it affects you too, although you don't have like a menstrual cycle, but it's still like, for all of us, we all have stress hormones, we all have those hormones. So it's really like, it's really important to take care of it, especially with the stress, as I told you the other day. That's like the worst thing, especially this chronic stress that, you know, it's like on a lower scale, but it's all the time happening. It's happening through the whole day for some people, and that's really detrimental to our health, and it's like the worst thing that happens to our health, along with the diets. And so that's why I started with it. And I know that, like, as a nutritionist, people like would expect me to start with the whole food thing, but that's not like what's useful. It's not useful to see health as this to-do list, because health is much more than that. Like, health needs to be something that we are the boss of, that feels really good to us, and that's like doable to us at the basic level, like that it fits our lifestyle and so on. So this self-love period is just gentle approach, and it gives you a lot of different options and the reasons why those options work and so on. I go into all sorts of geeky stuff. And then, you know, everyone can choose what feels good to them and what's useful for them in the moment that they are living right now. And that's how the health needs to be. It needs to be flexible, and it needs to feel really, really good, and it needs to be something that we can do on a long-term basis. It's not like juice cleanse isn't gonna bring you health, because that's like for a couple of days, and then you go back to like whatever you were doing before it that you thought is wrong and you needed it in the first place. Like, that's the completely wrong approach to it. And I know that it's like normal, because we live in a world of like this instant gratification, and if it's not done right away, then it's not good enough, right? But that's not how health works. Health is a long-term game, and our hormones are a long-term game. And that's why I wanted to, you know, put all of those different things like stress, sleep, movement, and nutrition also, because food is a part of it, but in a way that feels really good, and there are no restrictions of any kind. Like, I don't do that. And then I also talk about the truth about inflammation and detoxing, because what we have learned through this diet culture are lies. We have been fed lies on so many levels, and then I wanted to share like the truth about it, and how we can really support our bodies as it comes, you know, related to inflammation and detoxing. And then, of course, cycle syncing, because it's really important for us women, which like our brain structure changes up to 25%. That is huge. Every single month our body goes through so much changes, and we just can't expect ourselves to like be the same woman in each of those phases. We just can't. It's just not sustainable. And that's like one of the big reasons why so many women are like suffering from burnout, and they try to push through by taking the pill and drinking like 50 cups of coffee a day and so on, because they are, you know, out of touch with their cyclical nature. And we need to go back. That's one more way of just coming home to our nature and honor it, and see that each of those phases has like makes perfect sense, and it has its power, and it can be used so much to enhance our productivity and creativity and relationships and health and everything, every aspect of the life. So I love this thing. This like self-love period is my love song for the people. Like, it's amazing. I put so much into it, and it's awesome. So if you feel called to join, I'm gonna put a link in the comments when I'm done, or in the description, doesn't matter, and then you can join me. And as I said, we're gonna be starting January, because I really wanted to be gentle, because the whole point of self-love period is this gentle feminine approach to everything, and I want to implement that also in this whole like business kind of thing. Like, I want to give you enough time that you can see how it fits your world, but also like if you enroll right now, you can have this all modules available, so that you can see it all through the December, how it can support you and so on. And then you can start in January also, like I talk in more detail with every single one of modules, and so it's really so much value, and it's amazing. And I hope to see you in there. And yeah, again, it's been over an hour and I'm like, I'm gonna keep it short. I'm not gonna even say that anymore. It doesn't make sense. Anyways, thank you so much for being here, and if you are watching replay, hashtag replay in the comments. And I love you so much, and I'm gonna see you next week, and have a beautiful, beautiful weekend and the holidays and everything, okay? See ya!